I'm Gerd Ibarra, or Gerd, and I'm a Dynamics NAV consultant here at TechMan. So we'll just run through some different things that sort of show what the credit hold edition can do. Again, this is a different scenario where what we'll do is we'll put on a sales order. We'll send it through the credit release functionality, so it will throw the customer again over the credit limit, and then after it's been released, we will then modify the total amount of that order just to see what happens, just to show you guys. So again, if we stick with customer 10,000, so I'll just go from the customer card, and we know they're well over their limit, so I will put on a sales order. And again, if I go with a line type of item 1000, we'll go with a quantity of 2. Ignore the stock warning, and I'll say release again. So now tell me the document's been credit held. It's fine. And what I'll need to do is also increase my credit held limit amount, because it's currently set to 5,000. So if I just go back off there, and I will go to the, just to show you guys, I'll go to the credit held list, and we can see our new order 1017, and if I try to release, it'll give me an error because the document is worth more than £5,000. So I'll just go and amend that very quickly, bear with me a second. And we'll go edit list, set it to 50,000. Oh, 50,000. Okay, go back. Right, so I'm back on the credit held list, and I'm going to say now release that order. Okay, so I'll jump back onto my sales order list, and as I mentioned, guys, I'm not too sure if this is something that will often happen, but as we can see, the order has now been released. So what the user can do now is say if the customer calls back and says, oh yeah, I know we ordered 2 bikes, but we actually don't need 2, we only need 1. So the user has the ability to say, reopen the document and change this to 1, and again ignore the availability warning of inventory, and as we can see, the total of the document is now 4,700, but because that is under the original 9,400 of the document when we sent it for credit held release, I can now go ahead and re-release that document without having to send it for send it through the whole process again. Sorry. Okay. Now the other extreme, if I reopen and change that to 3, and go yes, ignore the stock warning, that's now set at 14,100, which is above the original limit. If I go release, because it's over the original amount, it will tell me that the document's been credit held. And again, that would need to run through the process that we just did in order for the status to change to released and the document to be processed. So I'm just going to run through a scenario where we process a sales order for a customer who is excluded from the credit hold functionality. So I'll switch back, and I'll stick again with customer 10,000 because we know they're definitely over their credit limit. And what I will do, guys, is just populate the exclude from credit hold tick box on the customer card now. So this is only being set against customer 10,000. Okay, so I'll go again and raise a new sales order, and I'll pop on line type of item 1000, and we'll say 1. And again, I'll ignore the inventory warning, and document total is 4,700. It's not a lot, but we know that puts them over the limit. And obviously the normal process would be released, so if I go ahead and hit that, we can see now that the document status is changed to release, because the customer is effectively ignored in terms of the credit hold functionality. Last one, we will use the credit hold all documents functionality on the customer card. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, guys, so in order for this to work, we have to enable the document first here. So at the moment, we have credit hold sales orders and credit hold sales return orders on the sales and receivable setup enabled against the credit hold functionality. If I then, on a customer, say I want to credit hold all documents, that will only hold the documents that we have ticked on the sales and receivable setup. So under these circumstances, it will only hold the sales orders documents and the sales return orders documents. So if I just say that and untick that, as you can see, I've got the error message. You can't exclude and then say credit hold all at the same time. So it just wouldn't make sense with it. Okay, so I've now populated the credit hold all documents, and I will raise a sales order again, and item 1001, yes, and I will release, and as you can see, document's been credit held. Nice and easy. I'll just reopen and I will jump back onto the customer card. On the Actions tab, I will raise a sales return order. And again, I will pop on an item. So pop on a line type of item, 1000, quantity of 1. And again, if I try to release this, it will tell me the document's been credit held because that's been populated. So I'll just reopen. And now if I try to put on a document such as a sales credit memo, which remember, is not ticked in the sales and receivable setup. So I'll say item 1001, and if I hit release, the document is released without any issues. So in order to have that functionality working the way we want it to, we have to ensure that all the appropriate documents are ticked on the sales and receivable setup. Just unpopulate that. Okay, and guys, as I said, that was the last scenario that I had in. But if I just very quickly look for a customer that hasn't got a balance, right, these guys, it's all done in local currency. So we'll use this customer as an example. So their currency code is currently set to the Malaysian ringgit. No, right. And what I'm going to do is set their credit limit in pounds to 10,000. And as we can see, there are currently no ledger entries against this customer. They have a balance of 0, so nothing's been posted against them whatsoever. So now we know that the credit hold functionality is switched on for sales orders and sales return orders, and these guys are not excluded in any way from the functionality because of the credit hold fast tab on the customer card. So what we'll do is just go ahead and raise a new sales order for this customer, and I will say we want a line type of item. Again, keep it simple, item 1000, and we'll say we want 2 of those. And obviously that's given the amount in the foreign currency, but then I should be able to go ahead and just release that because we know that in the local currency the total for 2 bikes is definitely under 10,000. On the other hand, if I reopen and say 3 bikes, yep, you guessed it, Ashley, and then I'll say release, and the document's then credit held. So nice and easy, works fairly simply. Just delete that. And yeah, guys, so it's just a quick recap. We covered the Techman Edition's credit hold setup, and we ran through some different scenarios. And guys, I guess all that's left is thank you very much for your time today.